AP Prep Boy 33 writes in the chat, I'm hoping this is going to start at 10:45 a.m., but who knows? To address your snarky comment, my response is, yeah, we're starting on time. I wanted to add two quick things. I'm not homeless. I am wearing pants. This is the Golden Days.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. And things suck. Woo! Let's go.
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. Cause I get what I want and I like what I see.
Oh, you got one extra day, Bill O'Reilly. It's Sunday morning. It is way too early. The team that we want. Welcome to the Golden Days. I am your host, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram because they're the same company. @DogWild. You can also follow me on that cesspool of an excuse for anything decent, aka Twitter. Elon Musk, that rotten individual, at least when it comes to fatherhood. I'm on there as well. You can follow me at Surf Journalist. Good morning, everyone who's tuning in live. It is Sunday, now 10:48 a.m. Pacific time. I'm coming to you from the Golden Days Studios in sunny, for the most part, Northern California in the redwoods of Sonoma County. I am Cyrus Saatsaz, the host of this, I hope, successful, entertaining, enlightening program that you're tuning into, following Team USA starting their action in dominant style. First of all, there's a lot of people talking about Serbia being one of the main competitions for Team USA. I don't see it. Serbia has no chance in hell against Team USA, and Team USA proved that today. They beat Serbia 110-80 for a 26-point victory, plus minus part of the focus in the action today. Comps between this team and the Dream Team in terms of dominance. Yes, this team that features Steph Curry, who I'm going to be talking about a lot today. Yes, this team that features LeBron James, that features Kevin Durant, a player who I think can safely claim is the greatest international player in Olympic history. Congrats, Kevin Durant. If there's a niche for you in terms of legacy, I think the Olympics are it. The all-time leading scorer. And Durant came back today after missing all of the prelims, all of the exhibitions. He's missed most of all the training, yet he scores a team-leading 23 points in today's victory. He adds a couple of rebounds, 2 to be more precise, had 0 assists. But who cares when you're shooting 8 of 9 from the field, including perfection in the first half. 20 Why did my mic just go muted? God damn it. Yeah, I just looked at the chat right now. How long has this thing been muted for? Is my mic still even connected? What the hell? This is the one downside with this platform that I work on, and I sincerely thank the audience right now for chiming in. I did not hit a mute button. It just went muted. I don't even know when I went muted. So this is saying right now it is 10:51, 10:50. Can someone tell me when I started or when the mute button started to about a minute. Okay, well, but nonetheless, the minute of silence was mostly just me recapping Team USA's box score. I apologize for that. Again, I didn't hit the mute button. Sometimes this platform that we use just mutes me for an inexplicable minute. So I apologize for that. I apologize to everyone for the dead air. Dead air is, at least when I was working in radio, was the cardinal sin of that medium. You never wanted to have dead air. They would conduct studies in terms of how fast the audience would drop from that. So thank you everyone for sticking around. I apologize again. So point is, Team USA dominating in the opener. Stephen Curry, in case you missed it again, had 11 points in this game. He was 3 of 7 from beyond the arc, shooting 42.9% from deep, which is absolutely fantastic. Was a plus 12 in the plus minus. LeBron James led all the players. I'm sorry, he was second on the team in net rating with a plus 21. The individual who led the team in net rating tonight was Anthony Davis, who's thriving in international play. He was a plus 28. He scored 7 points in this game, but that plus 28, largely the impact of his defense, of his rebounding. But here's the thing about Steph, and the show isn't just going to be Olympics, because I came up with a good topic, and I want to, and yeah, Bruce Morrow, Kevin Durant, largely responsible. He was so hot today that he just lit the fuse, and he shorted out my circuits, and I went muted for a second there. Yeah, Kevin Durant as an international player is exemplary, but a fun topic. And I want to bring this up now in case you want to chime in on the chat. I'm going to present to you today, besides the Olympic talk, which will be brief, because the analytics show that Team USA discussions do not drive the meter in terms of ratings and time spent listening and all that good stuff. We're going to talk Warriors today as well. And Bailey Bauer in the chat's asking what I think about Jason Tatum getting 0 minutes. I think him and Tyrese Halliburton got DNP'd as well. I will talk about that in just a moment. I'm also going to talk about Joel Embiid, who, despite being the starting center, only played 11 minutes. Steve Kerr is figuring out who brings value to the table and who does not. But the topic besides the Olympics that I want to bring up with everyone today, for the live audience particularly, if you want to chime in, who are the 5 individuals most responsible for the Golden State Warriors dynasty? I'm going to present to you a top 5 list of that after we finish up the topic and the discussion when it comes to Team USA. I also want to put the link in the chat for the live audience if anyone wants to jump in and have a discussion, if they want to, add their opinions to the mix. If you want to bring your hot takes, do so. That link is in the chat. Jump right in. Some opinions besides Bailey Bauer, I apologize, asking about Jason Tatum and getting no minutes. Gregors, I believe you're in Poland, if I'm not mistaken, is saying that Steve Kerr should replace Joel Embiid with Anthony Davis and replace Devin Booker with Kevin Durant. You might be, I'm not, there's no disagreement here. The Kevin Durant coming off the bench thing, I don't mind it just because it gives you that much firepower with your second unit. I mean, when you talk about an opposing team just looking at the game in front of them and you're getting beaten up by Team USA and you're trying to cling to whatever hope you might have within you. And then all of a sudden, Team USA starts dipping into their bench, and the first thing you see is 6'11", 7 feet tall, whatever he is, Kevin Durant coming out. Dude, you're crushed. Your morale is just literally just squashed at that point. It's over. Yeah, just wanted to give a heads up on that in terms of Kevin Durant coming off the bench, not the worst thing in the world for that reason, just because it is damn demoralizing when you're trying to play this powerhouse that is Team USA. And then you look at and all of a sudden you're trying to keep up, and then you're seeing them go to the reserves, and Kevin Durant, quite possibly the greatest international player ever, is your first man up. Yeah, you're going to be discouraged. It's going to be a morale buster. So, but Gregor, you do make a great point that he shouldn't start with 3 guards, but it worked. It did work today. Although the second half dominance was much more on display. This was still a relatively close game in the first half. But Team USA, man, I mean, look, when they're awake, when they actually care, it should not matter. This team is so damn talented. They're so damn deep. And you got to love the joy with Stephen Curry, man. I don't know if you follow him on social media. I reposted, at least on my Instagram account, a story of Steph's just, all of his joyful exuberance on display. The dude is having fun in Paris. As I've mentioned, I've interviewed him, I think, like 6 different times, and it's an honor to admit that, man. It really is. And he lives up to the billing. Stephen Curry is everything you would hope for in terms of who he is as a person, right? Because there's a lot of public figures in this world that colossally disappoint you, or end up being major letdowns because they're not as nice as you may think they are. You might come to realize they're total phonies. There's no authenticity. Not the case with Steph. He is everything that you would imagine he is, and then some as an individual, as a human being. He's just a good dude, and he's just positive. His energy level is second to none. Like, it's incomparable. So to see Steph out there, man, is absolutely awesome. And again, he wasn't dominating out there statistically. Again, Steph finished the game today with 11 points, tied for fourth on the team in scoring, or maybe I guess you could say fifth, behind Kevin Durant, again, who led the way with 23 points. LeBron James, who's clearly the alpha on this team. And the fact that the dude is nearly 40 years old and he's still at the peak of his powers, I'm taking tremendous pleasure in watching LeBron and Steph play together. They have an immediate synergy. You can see just why these two are the mantle bearers for this last 15, 20 years of NBA basketball in terms of representing who has been the face of this league. Those two are it. And to see them playing together and having this immediate chemistry, and it's a joy to watch. I mean, if you love basketball, I don't know how you can hate seeing these two on the same team together and just seeing them play off each other the way they are. The way LeBron is thriving with Steph does not show up on the box score. Again, Steph, for the third time at least today, I've mentioned, finished the game with 11 points. Again, the 3 of 7 shooting from deep, including that awesome 3 at the end. Was a plus 12 and plus minus, had 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And LeBron James was second on the team today in scoring behind Kevin Durant's 23. LeBron had 21, just short, 3 rebounds and 1 assist short of a triple-double, had 9 assists, 7 rebounds. But the Steph effect comes from the gravity. I mean, we've all seen this. If you're a Warriors fan, you know this by now. It's engraved, it's imprinted like a tattoo on all your memory cells in terms of Stephen Curry's gravity. Like, the dude attracts attention out there, oftentimes with not 1 but 2 sets of eyes. And you're seeing the rest of Team USA, you're seeing how much joy they're getting with a defense that is hyper-focused on Steph. Like, the defense is so worried 24/7 about where Steph is on that court that everyone else is a second fiddle in terms of priority defensively. And so you're seeing LeBron, you're seeing, Kevin Durant has known the pleasure of playing alongside Steph, but you're seeing LeBron get this experience for the first time. You're seeing Anthony Davis looking like he's aged in a negative manner, Benjamin Button style, 10 years. He's looking younger because of how happy he is on the court playing alongside Steph. He's made comments alluding to this. Anthony Edwards, who's a cocky mofo. I love the kid. But even he sometimes, you could see like that, the image of toughness that he's trying to exude sometimes crack a little bit from the humor that Steph Curry brings. Stephen Curry is one of a kind. I'm never going to stop praising him, giving him his due. Us Warriors fans we've been blessed to have him as a member of this team for as long as we have. And just, it's that much cooler now seeing him play meaningful games in July and seeing the rest of Team USA, the best players in the world, at least on the American side, to see them experience what it's like to play with Steph. I mean, because that's not something we're accustomed to. This is Kevin Durant's 4th Olympics. I think this is LeBron's 3rd Olympics. But for Steph, this is the first time. So we've never seen these other players and what it's like for them to be teammates with Stephen Curry. So God damn it, I just got muted again. I don't know what my platform is doing. I apologize for that. I'm going to try to pay more attention there. But so going back to what Gregors was saying about the 3-guard lineup, look, as long as it works, more power to Team USA. But it was interesting. It was no surprise that Tyrese Halliburton got a DNP. The odds of Steve Kerr dipping 12 deep into his bench for this tournament was very unlikely. When you look at the history of Team USA, typically rotations whittle down to like 8, maybe 9 players. So, and Tyrese Halliburton has been the odd man out. No surprise there. I apologize for the mute thing again. I don't know what's going on with my platform. I will pay more attention to that. Anyway, so going back to Team USA, the guard thing, Tyrese and who's getting minutes and who isn't getting minutes. So the Tyrese Halliburton part of it makes sense, right? I mean, he's not exactly known as being a defensive stalwart, and so he got a DNP today. Jason Tatum getting a DNP is a little weird. I'm not going to lie. And I apologize for the lighting right now. That's coming in, and I look like I'm in prison right now. That's going to be a brief moment of the lighting at the Golden Day Studios. I apologize for that. But Jason Tatum getting a DNP was kind of bizarre. I mean, Jason Tatum is one of the best players in the world. The dude just won a championship, and he got a DNP. Jason Tatum is like a 6'9", 6'10" guard with virtually no holes in his game, and he got a DNP. I don't know what the why of that is. I think it's damn interesting. And Bailey, I also think it's damn interesting that I've been muted twice now. That is weird, but I apologize for that. I don't know what's going on, but as long as you're hearing me now, that is cool. Anyways, so yeah, and Bruce Morrow adding that that Tatum gave some Gatorade assists today. Absolutely, just being an awesome cheerleader. But the point is, it is weird. Gregors, maybe you're right. Maybe he's dealing with an injury of some kind. I don't know what's going on there, but regardless, that was bizarre. Devin Booker, again, he got the starting nod. Kind of interesting in the sense that Steve Kerr opted to not start Anthony Edwards, which I thought was a little surprising. And Anthony Edwards did have a solid game, finished with 11 points, tied with Steph for the 4th highest on the team. Again, Durant with 23, LeBron with 21, Drew Holiday with 15. And I stand corrected. I kept saying Steph and Anthony Edwards were tied for 4th. They were tied actually for 5th because 4th on the team in scoring was Devin Booker, who had 12 points in this game, and then Steph and Anthony Edwards finished with 11. But what Devin Booker is bringing to the table, besides previous Olympic experience, is the defense. It's consistent. He's a dog on defense, meaning like the effort is constantly there, the energy is there, and any coach is going to love that. So Devin Booker, he got the starting nod. Look, offensively, he's just an awesome player, period, right? He might not be like this got this crazy glare. The reason why I look like I'm in a prison is because there's a gate right there. This is for the YouTube viewers. And right now there's a light reflecting right off this car in between these gates right to my face. So yes, I'm in prison at the moment anyways. So Devin Booker is just an awesome player, man. He might not be like, I don't think Devin Booker can be the best player on a championship team, but I think he can be the second best. And unfortunately, the same applies to Kevin Durant, which is why those two on the same team together is not going to result in a chip. But Devin Booker's an awesome player, dude. I don't think there's any way to spin that. So I don't hate him starting. But for Jason Tatum to get benched, it's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. I really don't understand that. And yeah, absolutely. And Douglas Mikes, you're absolutely right. Kevin Durant is still completely insane. And Bruce Morrow adding that Anthony Edwards showboats. Some people criticize him for that. He might be a little bit of that. Again, the maturity is the one part of his game that's not there yet. The kid's only 22. He's getting there. He is the physical part of it is almost complete. I mean, the only thing left is just building up the endurance to make it to the NBA Finals, as we saw in the postseason. Not that part is not there yet. His body broke down because it's never gone that long. He's never had any playoff experience until this season. It was the first time he actually had any extended run in the playoffs. So that part of it will get there, and the maturity will get there. The dude is gonna be the future Jordan. I have the utmost confidence in that. Michael Jordan, by the way, interestingly enough, I don't think I mentioned this on the program before, last week came out and said that Anthony Edwards' game does remind him of himself. He's special, dude. He is a really special player. Let's move on to the Warriors. And again, if you mention who, because I'm going to, a fun topic, right? I mean, this is literally the deadest time of year when it comes to basketball. We're all in a holding pattern when it comes to the Golden State Warriors and what that next move is, because there is another move coming. This roster, as currently constructed, is incomplete. It's nonsensical. And as currently constructed, as Andrew the GOAT asks in the chat, why haven't the Warriors signed Quinton Post yet? It's because, there's two reasons. One is the Warriors, I don't think themselves have even decided if they want to give him a guaranteed contract this early in his career or if a two-way deal is more apropos. And secondly, they can't sign him at the moment because of the salary cap. I believe they're like $500,000 below the cap. They're hard capped because of the sign-in trade. So meaning they can't go a penny over that $178 million approximately that the first apron sets that limit for when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. And they, with those sign-in trade deals that they enacted, they are a hard capped first apron team. And so they literally, even though they do technically have one open roster spot right now, they cannot sign Quinton Post because of the hard cap. So, and yes, Gregors, they do have the right to Guy Santos. In fact, Guy Santos is currently signed to a guaranteed deal with the Golden State Warriors. So, and this is also why, one of many reasons why I strongly believe there is another move coming, because of the Quinton Post dilemma. What are you going to do with Quinton Post, right? So they got to lose somebody in order to be able to have enough space for Quinton Post to be signed to a second round rookie minimum deal. They don't have that space right now. But no matter what happens, they're not going to lose his rights. So he's not going anywhere. And the Warriors don't have to worry about that. But there might have to be some concern in terms of him maybe being forced to sign a two-way deal, and that will limit the number of games he can play. That'll limit his postseason eligibility, although that's potentially, a concern that they might not have if depending on how the season goes. But that's a conundrum at the moment. So, and that's why I do think there's going to be there's another move coming. This Warriors offseason is very incomplete. I don't know if August 6th is the magic date. I don't know if there was like a column that came out a few days ago from a New York Knicks blog site, and they were talking about 5 centers out there that the team could make a trade for, and Kevon Looney was one of the 5 players. And the reason why this article was interesting, at least to me, is it presented at least one of potentially many teams out there who might have a need for a player like Kevon Looney. Gary Payton II is another player on this roster who may fill a very specific need like that for a certain team, right? Like the Knicks, they lost Isaiah Hartenstein. They need a backup center, especially given Mitchell's durability is a huge question mark. Julius Randle's durability is a huge question mark. So a team like the Knicks could use a Kevon Looney, desperately. There are teams out there that the Warriors can make deals for with Kevon Looney, with Andrew Wiggins, with Gary Payton II. And that's where the impetus is on Mike Dunleavy Jr. to make things happen. The Warriors had to get off Jordan Poole in that ridiculous contract a year or two ago, and they pulled it off. They got to do the same thing with Wiggins, and they got to do the same thing with Looney and GP2 for draft picks so they can then flip those and finally complete this Lauri Markkanen deal. But they are not there yet. And Gregors, I'm totally with you. I really hope that the most important young pieces for the Warriors, more specifically Brandon Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga, are not part of the Lauri Markkanen deal. And I imagine the Warriors have the same feeling as well. At least now they do. We've talked about Draymond Green and how there's a possibility that the trade he referenced on that Club 5280 show, whatever that is, I probably got the numbers wrong there. I apologize to everyone who may be offended by that. But the Draymond mentioned that the team came to him asking him his input for a proposed trade. He didn't reveal what the trade was, but he told the team that might help me out now, won't help you guys out in 2 to 3 years. And so in all likelihood, Jonathan Kuminga's name was brought up in a trade, and Draymond Green reminded the team, dude, if you trade him, there goes your future. This is not a smart move. So I imagine the Warriors are trying to make a deal happen that will bring them Lauri Markkanen and that will not force them to get rid of Kuminga and or Brandon Podziemski. Moses Moody will likely be dealt, as we've talked about before. And again, Andrew the GOAT, who says in the chat, the Knicks are linked to a Warriors trade. No, No. The only linkage there is a Knicks blogger saying that Kevon Looney could be a player that the Knicks could pursue as a backup center, but in no way, shape, or form is there like an actual report from a media member with any form of credence, with any form of credibility, stating that. Anyway, so why don't we get into the five? And again, if you mentioned it in the chat before, I flagged one of them. But who were the five members of the Golden State Warriors most responsible for the dynasty? And Randall in the chat, by the way, mentioning that the Warriors should keep Moses Moody. I agree with you. I love Moses Moody. I think he has a place either on this team, certainly in the NBA. But we know clearly by now he is not one of Steve Kerr's favorites, and Moses Moody might bring some value. So in terms of hopefully bringing in Lauri Markkanen, but I'm with you, man. I like Moody, and I mean Moses Moody himself could say it best in terms of the way he's been treated, in terms of the likelihood he's going to get traded.
I mean, it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, but that's likely going to be what happens. Is Moses Moody will be dealt, but we'll see what happens with that. All right, AB Prep Boy, I got your list, and I'll save these for when we get to number one. This is my list, very subjective, and obviously you can think of your own list, and if you can get it into the chat, I will highlight it. But who are the five individuals most responsible for the Golden State Warriors dynasty? And when we say dynasty, we're talking about the 4 titles in 8 years. We're talking about the reversal of fortunes for a franchise that for 30 plus years was mired in utter mediocrity and abysmal stature of just losing and just ugliness and chokeholds and losses and just deplorable performances. It was such a just vile 3-decade-plus run of Golden State Warriors basketball that finally ended with this dynasty. And there are some people out there that like to bring up this argument of, well, Dub Nation should be grateful that they had a dynasty, that, they had a good run and time to move on. Move on where? Why do some people make this point that the Warriors won a dynasty and they should be complacent for the rest of their days now and be grateful that we enjoyed the success? Of course we're grateful, but it doesn't mean we have to stop continuing to pursue greatness. And I hate that I just use the word we. I mean the Golden State Warriors. There's no good reason why they can't and shouldn't continue to pursue success, to pursue championships. Why is 4 the number that we should be content with? Why can't they pursue 5? What's wrong with continuing to pursue success? The reason why greed is bad is because it oftentimes hurts other people because of an unfair allocation of resources. But when it comes to basketball, there is no unfairness to be greedy for championships. We're not hurting anyone else wanting more titles. It's not like the other fan bases are getting money taken out of their pockets if the Warriors keep winning. I want a 5th title, damn it. I think they should keep striving for greatness. I'm not satisfied with the 4. I want more. I want the New England Patriots had 20 years of success. Why can't the Warriors have 20 years of success? Well, here are the 5 people that were responsible for at least this last part of the Warriors dynasty. I'm just checking out the chat real quick. I want to highlight everyone else's points. Yeah, AB Prep Boy, Donyell Marshall, who was before him? Was Danny Fortson before or after Marshall? There was Tom Gugliotta was before him. Chris Webber, what a brief and special moment that was. And then they had him for 1 whole year. Then he turned into Tom Gugliotta. Then I think he turned into Donyell Marshall and then Danny Fortson. That's how that whole thread ended up. Oh, yeah. Felton Spencer. Those days were marvelous. So, number 5 on my list is an individual that some people like to give credit to. Some people don't like to give credit to. Number 5 on my list, I apologize for the YouTube audience. No graphics for this one today. Joe Lacob. Joe Lacob, in my humble opinion, unfairly gets bashed for the nepotism, for maybe being greedy himself, for possibly being arrogant. And I get those criticisms, but I counter with this. You can replace coaches. You can replace executives. You can replace players. You can't replace owners. If you have a bad owner, A's fans know this. Raiders fans know this. Clippers fans knew this. You're screwed. Warriors fans knew this for the entirety of the Chris Cohen era. You're screwed. And the Warriors, for all of Joe Lacob's flaws, have an owner who's been willing to spend money, have an owner who is not complacent. The dude was trying to get LeBron James last year. Crazy thought, but it did mean he wants to win. And the alternative is a nightmare. Could you imagine if the Warriors had a John Fisher as an owner? Could you imagine if the Warriors had a Glenn Taylor as an owner? Oh my God. Yeah. Greg Gordon in the chat. Knicks fans know what? So, and I'm going to get to everyone else's contributions when I get to number one. Before I list number one, I will read off everyone else who has their opinion. And Bruce Morrow, fair point with Al Davis until the end. And then you have his son. Anyways, so Joe Lacob, you're number 5. You bought the team for, along with Peter Gruber, who does not get the respect he deserves. Side note, Peter Gruber, I apologize. I know I'm like losing myself here. I apologize. Peter Gruber, co-owner of the Warriors. He's the silent partner. He's the one that doesn't care about getting the attention, but he's putting up just as much money. Kudos to you two. You dropped your $440 million and change. You outbid Larry Ellison, who was also bidding for the Golden State Warriors. Very curious to know what that ownership would have looked like if he had won. And from pretty much the moment he took over, this team's direction has gone reverse. And the dude cares again about winning. If you have an owner who wants to win and is willing to spend money to make it happen, you are blessed as a fan base. Again, regardless of the negatives, and there's plenty of them, and I'm not going to sit here and deny any of them, but the positives are so huge. Joe Lacob also brought in Jerry West. Joe Lacob also brought in Bob Myers. Joe Lacob greenlit all of Bob Myers' decisions. So Joe Lacob, congratulations, you're number 5. And Peter Gruber, by the way, one last thing, as a co-owner of the Warriors, the dude is a masterful film producer. If you're ever bored, Google Peter Gruber as a movie producer. The dude produced Batman, like the Michael Keaton Batman. He was one of the main guys behind that film. And that's not the only one. Go check it out. So anyways, Joe Lacob, number 5. Klay Thompson, number 4. Your stint as a member of the Golden State Warriors, as a member of the Splash Brothers, as an individual who will likely go down as the second greatest shooter in the history of this game. The same Klay Thompson, who I believe in the 2016 Olympics led the team in minutes. Someone wants to confirm that for me? I believe that is true. So Klay Thompson, you were vitally important. They don't win 3 of those titles without you. The 4th one, I think they might have been able to pull that off, but still, I got to get plays due. I have to. Number 3, Draymond Green, who the team respects so much from a basketball IQ perspective that they're actually conferring with him when it comes to trades. The Warriors don't win any championships without Draymond Green. The only reason why Draymond is not number 2 on this list, and the reason why he's number 3, is because of 2022. 2022 was the first time we saw a chink in the Draymond Green armor. He was infallible in terms of his defense and his impact. And regardless of the negativity that comes with his emotions running wild sometimes, I'm fully aware of the 2016 NBA Finals, although I still maintain that that one-game suspension was not his fault. That was a gross overreaction by the NBA to suspend one of a team's best players in a finals game. Absurd. But we finally saw a chink in the armor in 2022. Draymond Green was actually not in the game to finish all of those victories. And that's why he's number 3 and not number 2 on my list. But Draymond Green, the Robin to Stephen Curry's Batman. You deserve that. And of course, Bruce Morrow. And there's some folks who share these sentiments that Draymond should be traded. And there's some people out there who actually are making a compelling case for that. But what I think is a fair assessment is if when it comes time to move on from Dre, it's going to be time to move on from Steph. As much as Steph loved Klay Thompson and loves Klay Thompson, he can live without Klay. We already saw that in 2022. They started that season 18-2 without Klay Thompson's presence. So, but Stephen Curry without Draymond is a different beast. Number 2, Bob Myers. And in case you're forgetting what Bob Myers did, let me just read you the cliff notes. He drafted Draymond Green. He also drafted Harrison Barnes, who was very important for that first title. He was the assistant GM when they drafted Klay Thompson. Side note, tip of the cap, if I was wearing one, to Larry Riley. A grossly underrated aspect of the Warriors dynasty, by the way. And make no mistake of his importance, considering Stephen Curry named his first child after Larry Riley. The name Riley comes from the former Warriors GM, Larry Riley. But Bob Myers was his assistant for the draft when they got Klay Thompson. Don't forget who hired Steve Kerr. Bob Myers. I know Joel Lacob's the owner, but that was his hire. Don't forget who was able to create the perfect amount of cap space to sign Kevin Durant. The ultimate consolation prize for the Draymond Green suspension. Don't forget the ingenuity behind getting Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga for losing Kevin Durant. Don't forget drafting Kevon Looney. Don't forget signing Sean Livingston. Don't forget signing Leandro Barbosa, David West. He did draft Jordan Poole. He did draft Kuminga and Moody, who I think would have been a great player. Don't forget the little things too. Like in 2022, the Warriors don't win a title without Otto Porter Jr. There are a lot of little subtle things Bob Myers did. The Bielitsas of the world, the JaVale McGee's of the world. All right, let me see who people have submitted for their list now. I tracked 6 of them. And if I missed anyone, please repost. Bruce Morrow, I missed your list. I have your honorable mention, which you have Kerr. I have as an honorable mention as well. He did not crack my top 5. Klay, Draymond, and Rick Celebrini. Dude, that is a good one. The Rick Celebrini call. How many injuries were saved because of him? Klay Thompson's rehabilitation. Otto Porter Jr. surviving an entire season. That was Rick Celebrini. Great call there. AB Prep Boy 33 lists Bob Myers, Stephen Curry. Great call for Andre Iguodala. Another Bob Myers signing. Forgot to mention him. Joe Lacob. And Stephen Curry's agent. I don't know who that is, actually. That's a good one. I cannot tell you who that is off the top of my head. That's a great call. Woodpit 420. Is that handled because do you create an actual wood pit and then just throw bales of marijuana into the wood pit? And then do you put like a blanket over your head? And then you hold that blanket over your head, and then you put your head over the wood pit, and then as these bales of marijuana are burning, does all that smoke just go into your head? And there's so much smoke that is going into your pores that you don't even have to breathe to get the THC into your bloodstream. Is that what the handle means? Or is that me just projecting? Your list is Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Joe Lacob, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr / Bob Myers. You put those two together, even though Steve Kerr is the reason for Bob Myers leaving. David West is on your list. I think you're referring to Jerry West. So you have 6. Okay. All right. I like it. Randall, Chaney. Your 5 most important pieces of the dynasty are Steph, Klay Thompson. I haven't revealed my number 1 yet. You don't know if it's Stephen Curry, by the way. Draymond Green, Bob Myers, and Mark Jackson. Mwah, who built the foundation, who set it all up so Steve Kerr can roll in at the frosting, and the dynasty was launched. Good call. Oh, here's Bruce Morrow's original list. Don Nelson. Now, my buddy Larry Kruger, that he would have probably listed Don Nelson as well. The original OG with small ball. Part of the reason why I'm traumatized with small ball. I have damn PTSD from small ball because of Don Nelson. You had, but nonetheless, great. I don't hate on it because Larry Riley exists because of Don Nelson. The influence for drafting Stephen Curry was largely Don Nelson, so I don't hate that at all. You mentioned Stephen Curry, Joe Lacob, Jerry West, and Andre Iguodala. Good call. I like it. Dr. J30, happy Sunday morning to you. You list Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, even though he wasn't there for 2 of the 4 titles. That's an interesting one. And Izzy, did you mean Iggy? Is Izzy another nickname for him? Andre Iguodala? And now the chat's blown up with different ideas. Marcus Barber saying they forgot Mark Jackson. Portola 45 asking if Mark Jackson was so good, why did he never get another coaching job? The answer to that is it's not because he's a bad coach. It's because he's potentially a homophobe, because he didn't play the corporate game right behind the scenes. When, you can't be, you got to have a filter if you're going to be a head coach in the NBA. And Mark Jackson in front of the cameras did. But if you're going to be an NBA head coach, you also have to have that filter behind the scenes 24/7. And Mark didn't quite have that. Trying to see if there's anyone else in the chat that was missed. Yeah, Jerry West. I've had a few people mention him. And number 1 on my list. And you don't know who is number 1 on my list. You don't know, Meng. You don't know. Stop assuming. Stop projecting. You don't know who my number 1 is. You have no clue. Number 1 on my list, of course, is Stephen Curry. And if this graphic, I hope, is showing pretty decently on your screen, 4-time champion. I think the Splash Brothers Twitter account, or Splash Brothers Muse Twitter account, made this graphic. I posted this on my Threads account if you want to check it out and download it. At Dog Wild. It's hopefully super easy. An all-time 3-point leader. 2-time scoring champion. 8-time 3-point leader. 4-time free throw percentage leader. He once led the NBA in steals. True story. I think it was like 3 years ago. 4-time NBA champion. 1-time NBA Finals MVP. 1-time Western Conference Finals MVP, the first. 2-time NBA MVP. The only unanimous MVP. 10-time All-NBA team member. 10-time All-Star. Just won the Clutch Player of the Year award. Won the NBA Social Justice title. Former All-Star MVP. Member of the NBA 75th anniversary team. member of the 50, 40, 90 club. And if I zoom in, well, let me zoom in, damn it. Well, I was trying to. I wanted to read. Oh, I see. In that little fine print right there, it says, Steph is the only member of the 50, 40, 90 club to do so while averaging 30 points a game. Bravo. He's the Warriors' all-time leader in points, assists, steals, three-pointers, field goals, games played, free throw percentage, playoff points, finals points, and win shares. Stephen Curry. Yep. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Happy Sunday morning. Anything else that I should be addressing? Any super chats? Did anyone spend money and I ignored you? I did not. Okay. Marcus Barber adding, going back to the Olympic game. Jason Tatum, who got a DNP. Anyone know if he got hurt? Dr. J30 correcting Izzy to Iggy. Oh, I got to give some love. Oh, my God. Well, better late than never. Golden Days, formerly LOW. And thank you to everyone who has migrated from the old show here. We're a daily program. Every Monday at 1 p.m., Casey Stern, formerly of Inside the NBA, joins me for NBA Coast to Coast. You're going to get his perspective on Team USA tomorrow. Golden Days has a sponsor, BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything online sports betting. Right now, you can receive a 50% free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit to bet on anything from the Olympics to baseball to Formula One racing. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. That means if you put in $250, they're going to add $125. If you put in $100, they're going to add $50. So you have extra money to start playing with. That's a hell of a deal. Bet online, the game starts here. Gregors, enjoy your evening beer. Thank you to everyone. I don't know if I'm going to make the event at the Dubliner today. I will try. If I don't, it's nearly a 2-hour drive for me to get to the location of that. So if I don't make it, it's only because the commute is a bitch. I will try, though. But for everyone else, if you go out to Damon Bruce's event at the Dubliner in San Francisco, enjoy. I will try to make it, but if not, I'll make it to one of these things. I promise. It's a long ass drive for me, but we'll see what happens. And we're back at this tomorrow, 1 p.m. NBA Coast to Coast. Casey Stern, yours truly. We'll have some fun. And every day that passes, we're hoping, we're borderline praying for Larry Markkinen. That news, some sort of news is going to drop soon, folks. And as I've said before, and I'll say it again, hell, I'll even make a social event for that. We will have a party if Larry Markkinen is officially a member of the Warriors, all right? And this show is coming to you live no matter what time of day it is, no matter what's going on, no matter if there's an assassination attempt, no matter if a president announces they're resigning, no matter what is going on in the world, if the Larry Markkinen news drops, we're dropping everything. We're going live, and we're going to figure out where to celebrate. It might be another trip to the Dubliner. We might throw a party at, I don't name the place, man. We'll figure it out. We're going to have a good time. Keep your hopes up. I do think it's going to happen. And until then, we're back tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for joining the program. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.